Two-time New Zealand offshore powerboat champion Warren Lewis has a goal to break a long-standing 25-year-old record, crossing New Zealand's Cook Strait in record time in his 35-foot-long twin V8 1100 horsepower catamaran, the Fairview Windows and Doors offshore superboat.
Offshore powerboat racing has allowed me to do things outside of work that I never dreamt I'd be able to do. So it's important to me as a person because I actually use it as a release. So there's a certain amount of aggression, certain amount of fear, certain amount of anxiety running one of these things, and having that in my life actually helps balance me out. Instead of it all being work-related, having a non-work-related pleasure that actually causes those same stresses is actually quite therapeutic for me.
Whenever Warren says, I've got something for you to do, you can guarantee it's a challenge. We finished the series and then suddenly I heard about another record. So he presented the Cook Strait Record Cup and said, this is our next challenge.
The 184-kilometre trip is from Evans Bay through the Marlborough Sounds to Picton and return to Evans Bay. Tackling rips and southerly gales at speed in the open sea would deter most. However, after surviving numerous powerboat accidents, for Lewis, it's just another one of life's challenges.
Yeah, look, I've had a few interesting events in my life. I started offshore powerboat racing about 8 years ago, and we tipped the boat over very early in my career, and that certainly gave me a bit of a scare. But about 4 to 5 years ago, I suffered a life-threatening brain aneurysm, and the doctors gave me a 1 in 10 chance of returning to a normal life. So for me, a normal life was offshore powerboat racing. So I'm one of the very lucky ones that came through that. So I had to return to offshore powerboat racing or I wouldn't have been normal, and that would have been worse. So I think I'm the only guy in New Zealand who's actually rolled one of these things over 3 times and continued to race. My last accident was very severe, and we were lucky to walk away from that one. But I continue to do it because the enjoyment I get out of it and the safety. Like, this thing's got everything in it to make it as safe as possible. And the 3 accidents, while they were nasty, ultimately we walked away. So in a race with a paramedic and a helicopter above you, 6-point harnesses, oxygen systems, all the safety gear, I feel safer in a race than what I do on roads. They are scarier to me than this because I'm so comfortable with all the safety equipment that we've got for worst case scenario.
When Warren rang me and explained to me that he wanted to do the crossing, I was not one bit surprised. If there's a challenge out there to be had, he's a man that is not going to sleep until he gets it.
I've worked with him now for 8 years. I know how he thinks and how he works. The Cook Strait is just another challenge. He doesn't settle down, and he won't settle down until it's done, and he's succeeded. He's got to succeed at everything he does do, and no doubt he'll do this one as well, and there'll be another one after it.
Co-driver Flea Coolin and crew chief John McLean worked tirelessly on preparing the rig for the crossing, changing the boat's V8 drives to gain more top-end speed.
The time put into the boat before the crossing attempt will be changing the lights of the drives over, changing the gear ratios so the boat can obtain higher speeds than we do for normal racing. Obviously the engines will have to be checked from tip to toe, the whole boat will have to be checked out. And then also there's a lot of advanced electronics that has to be installed into the boat that we don't run normally in racing circumstances. So all that stuff needs to be fitted up, and just basically checking and double checking and triple checking everything so it's right, because one little thing goes wrong, it's a massive waste of time and money. Down you go.
No stranger to breaking records, the Fairview Windows and Doors boat already holds the Auckland to Great Barrier record in return and the New Zealand NZ1 speed record of 219 kilometres an hour.
the Auckland Harbour Bridge to Tryphena and back. It was just the Harbour Master authorities in Auckland, and the consent process was reasonably simple. We actually had to have 2 attempts at that record. So that gave us an understanding of the process that we'd need to go through. At the Wellington end, it's reasonably straightforward, very similar to Auckland Harbour, but at the Picton end, the Picton Harbour Master has a huge amount of issues that we have to deal with.
I guess the main thing is that small stretch of water between the 2 islands. It's the weather factor that they need to contend with. And then as they get into the sounds, they'll need to be looking at those aspects of other operators in the area, ferries, recreational users and the commercial fishermen that'll be operating in that area, and that's something that they will be talking to the Harbour Master, Alex van Wingarden, over in terms of coordinating the run through the area to ensure the safety of not only the boat but also users in the area.
With his sights on the prestigious Straits Trophy, Lewis would rally a professional team and dedicate many hours to planning and researching the history of the trophy.
Well, it all actually started after we did the Auckland to Tryphena run. I got a phone call from a gentleman who said, look, do you know that there's a Straits Trophy? I've had it sitting under my house for the last 25 years. And I said no, and this was a number of years ago. And he kept reminding me, and finally this year we've got our hands on the actual trophy, and so this year we've decided to give it an attempt.
With the current Straits record standing at 1 hour 43 minutes set in 1984 by Aucklander Kevin Green in his monohull Aurora, Lewis's aim would be to break the 1 hour 15 minute mark. Former New Zealand offshore powerboat champion Graham Horn in the Fleetlease catamaran made an attempt on the record in the late 80s in an effort to beat Aurora's record. However, there is some confusion as to whether or not the record was ever ratified. His time was 1 hour and 37 minutes.
Holding that record is something I never dreamt I'd ever be able to even attempt, and the thrill of knowing that we're actually going to have a go at it is gobsmacking. So Cook Strait, for whatever reason it is, it's the piece of water in New Zealand known the most. It can be rough. This is a huge exercise to logistically put together what we need to do to have a go at this. But hey, it's something of national significance, and I'm just absolutely thrilled that I'm even able to make an attempt on such a prestigious record.
Lewis leaves no stone unturned in regard to safety.
We do wear fireproof overalls. We've also got fireproof boots. And this special belt is to take what we call a buddy bottle. If we have an accident, we go over, we're able to have approximately 45 minutes in the boat breathing underwater from the oxygen system in the boat. In the event that somehow we get caught up in the harnesses in the boat, we're able to slash the 6-point harnesses to get out safely. Next item, life jacket. Worst case scenario is if we're in the cockpit and the life jacket goes off, it's actually going to hinder our ability to get out of the cockpit safely. We train ourselves to not inflate these things in an emergency, so we only would ever inflate the life jackets once we're safely exited the cockpit. Now this skid lid is significantly different in the respect it's got a full face mask that's similar to that's used in an F-16. This face mask is designed so that under worst case scenario, if we get knocked out in a crash, this is actually providing oxygen to us. What this system's doing, it's actually got the intercom built into it as well, and Flea's actually breathing what we call ambient air, so it's not using tank air full time. When Flea turns his head sideways or dips his head down or is submerged underwater, this valve here automatically closes. It also has the ability for a safety override on the side here. And the last piece of equipment we wear is a neck brace. What this allows us to do is we can totally relax our neck, and literally during the race our helmet will just be bashing off the sides of the seats so that our neck's completely relaxed.
As a high moves across the Strait, the team head to Wellington with a view to making an attempt the next day.
When we race, we've raced in 3-4 metre seas, and we can actually travel at 100 mile an hour in those conditions. But in a 1 metre sea with the wind taking the tops off the waves, they're the absolute worst conditions to try and power one of these boats through. So we're in the laps of the weather gods. We're going to get down there, we're going to have to make a call, we're going to have to get out there, and ultimately it's not going to be until we actually get into the Cook Strait we're going to know for sure what conditions are like. We're prepared to have 2 attempts at the record, so if conditions aren't ideal on the first run, I'll probably continue with the attempt because all the costs are incurred anyway. But yeah, look, getting the conditions right in the Cook Strait is the single biggest challenge that's facing us.
Warren is thorough. He briefs and organises his contingent. Media, rescue diver, paramedic and chase boats.
Chase boats, we've got Mike. Where are you, Mike?
Right here.
Mike's going to take off right now and start heading to the entry of the Tory Channel. The chances are we'll pass him on the way, but we want Mike as close to the Tory Channel as possible.
The crew will be in constant radio communication with John McLean in the helicopter.
Don't let my mother see this, all right?
Warren's nerves are obvious.
Which tells 1,000 words. Nervous is good. We've got to be safe.
Lewis's regular co-driver Flea Coolin is unable to make the run, and at the last minute the experienced Chris Hanley steps in. An electrical fault delays the start by 30 minutes.
Right. Got that one marker out there coming around 12 o'clock now. We'll turn before that once you're off on plane.
Lewis and Hanley do a warm-up lap of Evans Bay before heading off on the record attempt.
Just remember, I'm not going to have the best steering over that spacer out, so roger.
Minutes later, the boat meets notorious rips in the mouth of the Wellington Harbour, and there is talk of turning back.
We need to make a call pretty quick here. All right, we'll just use it as a shakedown run anyway, Chris. Yeah, you want to break the boat? Negative.
But Warren is confident of finding better conditions if they deviate from the original planned course.
Yeah, we're right in the rip now, you see. Oh, God damn. That one hurt. Yep. I want that big boat with the suspension seats.
Speeds are as low as 40 miles per hour, and the toll on their bodies and the boat is becoming obvious.
Jesus, it's going to be a hard ride back, mate. Hard and slow. Oh. Okay, easy there, Warren. Watch out, this is going to be real bad.
At this point, because of the conditions, they concede that the record attempt may be out of their reach. The Garmin chart plotter assists the pair, and they divert to find slightly better water.
Stay out to your right, out to your right. There's a bad rip. Yep. Okay, but it is nice and easy through here. Eyes out. Right. Straighten up and go through it. Straight on, mate. You want to get through a bit further? Up to you. Yeah, you're good to turn left now, mate. Okay. Right, so that's the point there. Straight in front now, so you need to get to your right. Yep. Trim down a bit, Warren. Trim it down.
Coming through the sounds, the water flattens out and they push the boat to speeds of 132 miles an hour. That's 212 kilometres an hour to make up for lost time.
Down, Warren, down. Put the thing down. Down, Chris. I got nothing. Still nothing now? Yeah, it's alright, but the wind, as soon as the wind catches it, it wants to off. Roger. Beautiful, Chris. You start you around. Fantastic. On your GPS, Yep. Can you see Maple, the smaller Maple Island? Yeah, we're here, straight for it. Oh, yeah. Yep. Sorry, we've got to go right in the middle, right in the middle. There he is, right where the helicopter is now.
At the halfway mark, the rules require a quick check-in with the Picton Harbour Master. The clock says 50 minutes, so now they have to make up time on the return trip if they have any chance at the record. Again, the sounds provide calmer water and the boat is able to stretch its legs, reaching even higher speeds for the return run, well over 200 kilometres an hour.
Okay, mate, take a couple of deep breaths, get relaxed. Gonna get this wind up here again once we come around this point, Warren. Roger.
Travelling across the strait, the boat again hits huge swells, which forces them to dramatically reduce speed.
Right, we're in for the ride from hell, man. Yeah, we'll just be real careful. Roger. Just back it down, getting out of here, Warren. Remember, we can keep to the right. See that ship in front? Yeah, slow down, Warren, slow down, man.
The crew and boat are subjected to yet another hammering.
I'm not going to do this the whole way back. Let's just relax and be safe. Yep. I'm just going to keep heading straight to that theory, all right? Roger. If possible, we want to pass on the right-hand side of it to ensure that we're out off the coast. And then we'll come back in. Try and spot the wakes, man. I think got the first one. Here we go, Warren. 5, 4, 3. Whoa. Right, let's get over it sooner rather than later. Back it down, back it down, back it down. I'm going to back it right off, Warren. Right off. Oh, keep it.
Once again, they feel with these conditions they have lost the time they have made up.
Yeah, mate. Oh, f***ing hell. Back it down a touch, Warren. Sorry, back it down a little bit. Roger, man. It's getting worse. Oh, go. Just try and hold it at a nice steady pace. Yes, yeah, I hear you, I hear you. Have you got a time? Yeah, we're coming up to the hour. Sorry? We're coming up to the hour. All right, well, we're still in with a very good chance here, Chris. Yep. So no need to overcook it. Yep, let's just keep plodding our way through it like this. This is good. Oh, back on, back on. I have, man, I have. Now, I think the second point you can see in the distance is the entry to Wellington Harbour. I can't see it. That one down there, at 11:30. Roger. Yeah. So we want to keep heading down here out off the coast. Yeah. Let's keep away from all that stuff and shore. Roger. Roger. I'd be tempted to just stay out a bit more because we're in good water here, mate. Yeah. Tell me if you think I'm overcooking it, mate. No, we're good. Yeah, coming around nice and slow. Maybe not so slow, I'll bring it around. Come on, you come around. There we go, straight. Mark's way over here, man. Yeah, give me some down, man. I can't do anything. Complain, complain, complain. Okay, right you go. Take it out. We're done, aren't we? We're done.
On completing the run, Lewis and Hanley are unaware if they have succeeded.
Well, man, don't know if we got it or not.
Find out shortly.
It's going to be a line ball call.
On approaching the jetty, New Zealand Offshore President Kelly Smith holds up the stopwatch and they realise they've done it. 1 hour 33 minutes, breaking Aurora's record by 10 minutes and Graham Horn's effort by 4.
To get it on the first attempt in those conditions, wow. I'll be perfectly honest, we weren't expecting to break the records when we hit the heads on the way out. So in those conditions, as I say, we were down to 40 mile an hour, leaping completely out of the water coming across the straits. Got into the sounds, 132 was our top speed in the sounds. So given we were travelling across the strait at basically a third of our top speed, to come in and break the record, yeah, weren't expecting it, to be fair.
you got to remember you're a long way from anywhere. You know, obviously we had help in a helicopter, but you've got to be pretty careful about these things. The record stood for a lot of years, and there's a good reason for that. So, you know, smart heads prevail. Luckily Warren said, let's keep going. So we just kept a nice steady pace the whole way across there. Nothing too crazy. Took a few big hits here and there, and you know, where we could go fast, we went fast, and where we had to be careful, we backed down and we were careful.
The conditions were so rough that the ferry wakes as well, mate, it threw everything at us. So getting through the mouth of Tory Channel, it was just an egg beater. We were down to only barely on the plane to get through that water. But certainly the roughest piece of the course was just right here leaving Wellington Harbour. It was just a nightmare, and certainly Chris sort of said, what the hell are we doing? At that speed, it's easily beatable. There's no question of that, and if someone beats that time, I'll look forward to having an attempt to regain it. So at 10 minutes under, that adds some excitement. At 130 mile an hour, right conditions, an hour return is most definitely doable.
When asked what's next, Lewis keeps his next challenge close to his chest. But knowing Lewis, it's no doubt going to be something even more ambitious.
At this stage, I won't say what the next challenge is, but certainly I'm down the track on a challenge for next year. But until such time as I feel it's an achievable challenge, I'll keep it to myself, because I don't like being a gunner.